Let's take an inside look at a high school senior baseball player off-season workout. We're going to start out with some core here, some dead bug plate pullovers, a little bit more isolated, and then we'll transition to something a little bit more integrated and dynamic with the low to high pulls with the K pulley to get the full body or full core engaged here. Then we'll kind of go to a standard dynamic warm-up. Had a pretty grueling and brutal lower body workout the day prior. So we just kind of wanted to get things moving, everything loosened up, as we do have some plyos a little bit later on in the workout. But just something to really get the blood moving, kind of get some bounce back in the step so they don't feel as beat down. Then from there, once the tissue's all warm, really a big fan of these to increase our deep range hip mobility, just some nice landmine sways. You can add weight once you get good with those. And then to get some preps for our jumps, we're doing some weighted pogos here. Obviously you want to keep the weight a little bit lower to make sure we're still getting good bounce. And as we get into our jumps, we're going to be on both ends of the spectrum. We're going to do some really heavy band resisted jumps, and then right after that we're going to pair that with some really heavy band assisted jumps. So again, really extreme on both ends. So trying to slow it down and develop as much power as possible, and then really speed it up and get as much elasticity. Today's focus today, and really for the month, is just overall brute strength. So we're doing wave loading with our main lift. So we're going 5, 3, 1 on the sets. And then as far as our rest time, we don't really like to have the guys laying around. So in between each set, we're going to be doing some dumbbell M raises off the bench here. And then once they're done with those, we're right back up into their main set. So again, like I said, we're going 5, 3, 1 with our main lifts here. So this will be our set of 3. Again, the main focus for this month is to drive as much strength into the athlete as we possibly can, and try to complete as many waves as we can. So this will finish off with our single here. Again, it might not be a true 1 rep max. It's probably closer to a 2 rep max, but either way, athletes don't get as much exposure to this as they should, so we're really heavy on it. Okay, from there, this athlete in particular is really trying to gain speed. So we want to try to hit his hamstrings and keep him as healthy as possible. He's on a pretty heavy sprinting dose, so keeping the hamstrings as strong and resilient as possible to prevent injuries. His rest time in between those is going to be these hip internal rotation end range liftoffs. Again, with our rest time, we don't like to have the athletes standing around, so we try to get some mobility in that downtime. To finish up with some isolation work, again, main movement today was pushing, so we want to get some hypertrophy on the back side, so getting some volume here with some inverted rows. And then again, to keep some injury prevention and resilience, we're doing these single leg hip thrusts, again, for volume, to really get that tonnage stimulus. And then to finish it off, just a little bit of arm farm, get the triceps a little stoked. The athletes love it. Love a good pump to finish out a good Friday workout.